champ is here.
We will definitely not shut up and dribble.
The champ is here. I must be the greatest. The champ is here.
I'm going to continue to stand with the people.
The champ is here.
I will not lose.
I'm a bad man. I shook up the world.
Yes, welcome. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with we. My name is EJ, and I got my man.
Your mate.
Yes, he's the DB of the show, man. And today, man, we're bringing you inside the locker room, man. We got an important topic, that's here with the culture. So, we had to, send out that bat signal, and just because we know people are getting ready for the holidays, and this one kind of came up, so just definitely had to bring this to the people, man. So, MH, you ready to talk about today's topic, man?
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Well, let's just start bringing some people in, man. We'll talk about some other narratives, man, while we kind of fill the room up a little bit, man, because we know the people are starting to pour in. So let's just go ahead and bring them in.
Yo.
Yes. CEO. What's up, man? You got to smile every time you hear that intro, man. I know I do.
Every time I hear it, I'm reminded that that's me right there.
That's you, son. For sure. And if you could turn up your volume or just kind of speak closer to your mic, man, just so we can hear the note that you drop. And then King G, man, how are you doing, sir? Man, definitely always great to have you on, man.
Oh, I'm good, man. Ready to go.
Love it. And I always want to thank the people that's live tweeting, man. We can see the people joining on Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube, wherever you're joining in. So please share your comments. We'll get those kind of answered and interjected as we kind of go along, man. But before the show was started, man, since we do have a boy in here, man, before we get to the topic at hand, man, MH was just talking about one of Kyler Murray, man.
Yeah, man. One of our previous lives, I can't remember the month, but Gene has some information about Kyler Murray and about what his career looks like. And ever since Gene said that, man, I can't watch a game without thinking of about your comments, man. But essentially, Kyler Murray's not having the season I thought, but it's going to prediction of what Gene had told us. Check back in some of our archives if you want to hear exactly what he said. But he said this isn't a surprise to Gene. I would guess
zero. No surprise. None.
No.
Howdy.
Oh, here we go. The Cowboys.
I mean, not that this is a surprise, but hold on, Gene. Let's take Gene's statement was a little further than just not playing well. So, dude said,
"Oh, no. we have a countdown going on.
Yeah,
time is ticking."
So it's a wrap. After this contract is done for him.
It's a wrap. He does not. I told people all the time, I knew enough information to know he doesn't love the game like that. Like he doesn't like baseball. Really, his first love.
Right.
He did football because people were telling him he was too small. That's it. That was a pride thing. He should have stayed with baseball. He don't really love it that much, and he still has a video game problem. He's actually gotten worse again.
So when we was in New York and I saw that Call of Duty sign, man, I just laughed. You had me cracking up, and I was like, "Oh shit! Here comes the decline."
It's a wrap.
Can we say maybe it's some of the coaching a little bit? It seems like him and Cliff not on the same page with a lot of different things.
That's true, but all the other players are saying is him. All the ex-players are saying is him.
Well, Pat P had to get some numbers on the show, so I know he
felt that, but he was telling the truth. He's like, man, listen, all them players know that. They say that about Kyler behind the scenes, everything. Trust me, if it was a coach thing, it'd be more rumbling about the coach stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
DeAndre Hopkins haven't had an issue. He hasn't screamed at his coach yet. He screamed at Kyler.
Yeah, that's fair.
Fair. Maybe it could just be a down year for quarterbacks, man. Just with transition. We know.
Yeah,
let it ride. Russ ain't doing too hot either.
Look, we transitioning from the old heads. We transitioning from Rodgers and Brady.
That's true.
But Kyler young. Kyler should be a face of the league. He's not living up to that hype.
I mean, I play Madden every now and then just so I can see him play well. So, so hopefully that it turns into from virtual to reality here pretty soon. So we'll see. He had some injuries, man. D-Hop was suspended a little bit, and
Yeah,
Hollywood Brown got injured, and so I mean, there's some things working against him right now.
Them things in himself. Like, gotta be able to want to study the game, man. You
Hold
gotta
on.
love
Like,
the game.
are we just gonna skip the whole the shit that went down at the beginning of the year? Because I mean, I'd still be soft about that shit too, where they put like you got to study in the contract. Like that still shit happened this year. That,
Well,
you know what I mean?
it seems like they should have left it in the contract.
And they should do that shit somewhere different, man. I don't know.
The reason they said that because obviously it was a problem. Nobody goes out the blue just randomly want to put that in there.
Ask you a question. If you're about to pay somebody millions of dollars and they can't do the bare minimum of watching film and studying an opponent, why are you still agreeing to sign him?
Because he's a talent, right? That's what you're going off of?
They betting on the future.
Elite talent.
An elite talent.
They betting on the future. They betting on their arm. They betting on their running ability. And I was like, sometimes you got to call a spade a spade. Like, everybody was so offended by the contract. It's like, nah, I know enough about what's going on in Kyler's circle to know they need to be in the contract. And if Kyler wasn't black, trust me, if it was like a red or white quarterback, nobody would say anything, but he was black, so they felt like it was offensive. But in reality, it needed to be in the contract because it was an issue. It's not in India. They don't do that. They have never.
No. They did say that that's in other contracts because they tried to play that game and say like, oh, that's in there. I mean, not stipulated to where it's a whole ass addendum and shit, but they said it's in other contracts.
Well, no, it's in other contracts because I think it was like Tannehill when he was first coming along before he was at the Titans when he was sucking with the Jags, I believe.
Like we know it wasn't on what's the bust Raiders quarterback? We know it wasn't in his Jamarcus Russell. He's got that contract.
Jamarcus had a lean problem. That was a whole different thing.
Damn.
It was a whole document
with the inside scoop. Well, no,
we still got some time. We got some time.
We got time.
We got some time on Kyler. I ain't gonna give up on him too much.
He can fix it. He can fix it.
He better.
He needs to.
Shit.
That's because I mean, it's not like he can go to baseball now, right?
No, he still can.
Yeah,
The Athletics still have his rights.
I mean, shit, MJ was out there swinging out, so I'm sure he can.
You know what's funny?
He can get a AA contract.
You brought that up. I'm in a sports group on Facebook, and somebody posed a question: will we ever see another two sport athlete? And it was mixed reviews. It was kind of mixed answers. And I said no. For one, you're definitely not going to get another two sport all-star athlete ever again. You're never going to get that. And I doubt you get a two sport athlete again. This is because these players are so much more concerned about their brands than being competitive and being like an all-time great athlete. They're never going to take the risk to do it. So.
I mean, he wasn't an all-time great, but who's that? What am I thinking of? His quarterback came back as a tight end in the NFL. Played for the Mets, baseball. Prayed a lot.
Tebow?
Yeah.
Tebow. No.
He wasn't an all-time great, but I mean,
he didn't make the squad.
He played AAA for him.
You talking about like playing both at the same time, or just
like
playing both in general?
Jackson, Deion.
Yeah, Deion. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see it happening because this generation, usually when you focus on the sport so much,
it's crazy because it clearly happens. It clearly happens where they are good enough in multiple sports.
Yeah,
to get attention from the pro levels on both sides, and they just choose to do one, right? Like you brought up Kyler Murray. What's the wideout? I don't know if he played in college though. Wideout for the Jets, Wilson, the rookie.
Okay.
Yeah, dude is nice on the court, right? I don't know how much attention he was getting, from the NBA, but I just don't see them even making the attempt to try to do both.
Right, and a lot of these contracts, they not allowing them to do that anymore.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I don't think
the contracts done got so big, they like, no, I'm not letting you go get hurt.
Keep your ass right here.
Yeah, you staying right here.
Yeah, don't go nowhere.
Because remember, Jameis played both sports.
So now
Jameis was a star on the baseball team, star on the
I don't have no teams. Yeah, that's true. That is true. I remember he was. Did they go to the college? The Cleveland World Series?
I think they went to the College World Series.
Yeah.
So, Ross, you came in just in time to get a mention for Tebow. I knew you'd have knew that question.
Hey man,
You always throw Tebow up in there some way.
he's one of the best quarterbacks of all time, right there, mate?
Something like that.
Yeah, what's going on, fellas?
What's happening,
brother?
We were just talking about a little stuff before we jump into the meat and potatoes of it. But man, without further ado, man, I mean we know what we're here for. You know, something major has kind of happened depending on how you look at it. With one of our own going to kind of launch, a whole mission movement, and everybody was thinking that it was going to be like the game changer and the savior. And then he had to make a change. So people were just kind of wondering like how that was going to affect. So he's made the move, and now we got to really just, like I said, it's just having a meeting because ain't gonna be no more of this, right?
I know what you're thinking. I was the one back in the day always talking about I love the hood. I love the ghetto. I was the one said I wasn't the kind of nigga make a little money and run to the suburbs. Yeah, you right. That's what I said. But as soon as I got my check, I was gone.
So that's what it appears to be, man. So I mean, I don't know where we want to start or how we want to do it, man. I don't know, MH, if you got some thoughts on how you want to kick it off, man. But
yeah,
so Coach Prime, man. My man took off his glasses, moved his.
You got serious.
Yeah, what did he say? I'm coming.
Hey, do you see the hat though?
He said, "I'm coming."
My man's got the hat on.
God, he got the Colorado
Got
hat.
it already.
Let's go. So, how you gonna kick it to him now, man? You gonna tell him?
Get the fuck out of here.
How you think he's gonna make it happen, man?
That's what he did. No, I got the hat honestly because my wife graduated from CU, so so she's happy. I'm happy. We all happy here. Hey family.
Say less.
Yeah. But no, I like it, man. I'm really interested to hear y'all perspective on it, and I got some things. I just want to listen because I got my own opinions, but I want to listen to the guests, to y'all, and then we can jump in. I'm excited about it.
He's going to turn that 1-11 team. I think he's going to get at least 8 wins next season. I mean, you already have 5-star wide receiver recruits from Texas A&M. Also, fuck A&M. So it makes me happy. Leaving, they committed full. I'm committed to this, and they're out. So I mean, and then you have that I guess he's a senior running back from Bama, tweeting at Coach Prime talking about, "Unc, you got space for me." I definitely think that. I mean, he's gonna do really well, I think, and also he's making a fuck ton more money. So.
Well, hold on. They said they ain't got that money yet, though. The check
They'll
ain't
figure
clear.
out.
He said he could put
they'll
something on
figure it out. Yeah,
right.
You could put something on it.
But yeah, so the money thing, right? So he's going from 300K to what, 5
million. Yeah,
that's a different.
That's a pretty jump. Yeah,
but he said it's not the money, though, right?
Absolutely, and I believe him. I mean, he seems like he's
Wait,
all
what?
about. I believe him for that most part. I mean, obviously the money has, it plays a part into it, but it's not the main factor. Right?
Wait. What is it? Wait. You're talking about 300,000 to what?
5
years.
First of all, I don't know if you remember this, Eric, but Prime came out with a song back in the early 90s.
Oh, hit that, EJ.
It's called "Must Be the Money." So, like, I don't know what about makes you think it's not about the money. Because I mean, he's not, he's not Jay-Z and Beyonce wealthy, but he don't need the money.
Absolutely.
So for him to make this move, it's about the money. He just wants more money. I didn't even want to get to what I really wanted to address is, which I thought we were going to discuss, is how the impact this has on HBCU athletics as a whole.
I think those are two different things, though.
No, they are two different things, but that's my only concern. Because I'm not mad at him at all. I'm disappointed, but I'm not mad at him. He made a business decision. Like I can't.
This is worse though. Like it's almost like when your mama be like, I'm not mad at you, baby. I'm just disappointed. Like,
that cuts hard, yeah.
I mean, if we be real with each other, this is a family discussion.
No, yes, I'm very disappointed because he came in preaching, this mission statement that a lot of people hopped on that bandwagon about, using his platform and his leverage to bring light to HBCU athletics and help lift them up and get all these top recruits that are in football and basketball and these other sports, instead of going to PWIs, going to HBCUs. And his celebrity, his influence, that leverage Jackson State, but it also put so much a big spotlight on other HBCUs. Like even Howard, who's never been ever talked about as being a respectable athletic department, for HBCUs, they started to get the eyes of top recruits in basketball and stuff like this. So for a lot of us HBCU alums looking at it, was like, oh, this is the very beginning of a change where we can really start making a dent economically to supporting our own and bringing our own and building up our own thing. I thought that was going to be a long road mission for this. And for him to walk away, I think is a devastating blow to that momentum. I mean, it's too early to see, but I can imagine that maybe because we needed more primes. It's not like former professional athletes didn't come back to school. Alvin Harper was the head football coach at Howard at one point, right? So like we needed more primes. We needed more primes to get in these positions to help leverage and bring more attention to HBCUs and build up the athletic departments. I just can't see that happening right now with him leaving after only 2 years.
Right. And I'll back what you said. The way he came in and preaching the same way Eddie Robinson was preaching when Eddie Robinson was around. And that's the issue. Like a lot of HBCU alum, like, yeah, we disappointed. It's because the way you sold it as like, you know what, I'm going to get this back like how Eddie Robinson had the swag back in the day.
Right.
All our talent came home. They came back to all the HBCUs. And we were starting to see that move. You start to see more buzz. You start to see better recruits. They all started to like, you know what? I'm going to HBCU. They get on campus. They love the campus.
Yep.
But the way he preached, though, that's how he sold it. And then even last year, Isaiah Lamb, one of the probably a defensive end, he went to FAMU, probably going to get drafted. Isaiah Lamb was about to hit the portal and leave. And Deion put a message on his post, man, don't leave. We need this for the culture. We need our players to get drafted here. Like, this is how we bring buzz and lights to the community. And for him to do all that and tell Isaiah Lamb, who's putting his future on the line, to like stay, and then he dips out the next year.
Yeah, like it's a bad look. And at the end of the day, what it does come down to is money. The reason why Jackson State's entire football facility, everything over there got upgraded is because he was there. And that brought in more money and all this type of stuff. And we just needed more of that. And once you get more, and that's what the HBCUs miss in the athletic department, money, because that's not what brings us our money.
Right.
What brings us our money is academia. It's always been academia. And then it's depending on the school, like this entertainment and stuff like that. But like, we don't make money on sports. If we needed this.
And I'll back him up with this. Like, this is what people don't know. So my school, Southern University, we make money off of academia. We make a lot of money off of land grants. That's government money we're supposed to receive.
Mm-hmm.
The state of Louisiana owes Southern $1.5 billion. $1.5 billion. LSU, they get the same thing when it comes to land grants and money. They get that as well. LSU has never missed a payment. They get that check every time. We only getting like 20 to 30% of what we supposed to get on land grants per year. Like, we're not even getting the whole percentage. Like, and then now we have to go to lawsuits. We're doing it's a bunch of lawsuits. A bunch of HBCUs are suing their state because they owed all this money and they were not receiving all that money. So when people tell us about, our infrastructure is not good, our stadium's not good, like all this stuff is not good, I say it's because when we donate compared to everybody else, other institutions, it got to go to everything. We can't just focus on sports like most institutions. We got to worry about the dorms. We got to worry about the buildings, everything to make sure our campus is running year after year. So that's where we're donating our money to. That's what we're putting our money to. If we had Southern supposed to get $400 a year, they probably receiving maybe 90 of it. So think about it. They only get 90 million of the 400 million. If put us on the same playing field, give us all our money like you're giving LSU all their money.
What did my man say?
You know what happens?
My money.
Yeah,
my money.
And also they know that HBCUs are a threat.
Right.
HBCUs are definitely a threat.
That ain't what they want.
They don't want the black students they are getting to go to these PWIs to all start going to HBCUs because they get paid off of them.
We start showing up. We start showing up in national championship games, or start showing up in a tournament and deep runs, and not just like Cinderellas. It's over for them.
Yeah. So that's one of the things Deion was kind of saying, right? Like he was going to start picking off like lower level FBS schools to play and kind of like start.
Yeah, it was happening already.
Well, let me ask you this: so he's been the proof case scenario, and he's shown that change can happen and the difference makes. Do we need Deion to do that now that we know this is the thing?
Yeah, because it's just the beginning. Like people were still starting to buy into it. We haven't really, the seeds were being planted, but we hadn't seen like the results of it all. And that's what's so disappointing about it. Because again, it's like, all right, now you got students like, all right, well, if Deion ain't sticking around, let me just go to this PWI. Or other people in Prime's position might not just be like, well, he stayed and he just went and got a bigger bag. So if I do go, I'll do the same thing if I do go and coach in HBCU. So it's disappointing.
And one thing you want to set president. That's what he did. He said president. Now it's like all these kids that are even thinking about HBCUs, they're like, you know what? Nah, that's not the spot. Deion left after 2 years after all the stuff he was saying.
Yep.
And people are gonna look at that, and then we have the talking heads in the media, the Shannon Sharps, the Stephen A. Smiths. They boys with Deion. Right. So they can say whatever Deion says. They gonna pitch whatever Deion says because that's their boy. That's their homeboy. They're like Deion answering the call. They're gonna want to go to Colorado games. Yeah. So they're gonna say everything Deion wanted them to say.
This is bigger than coaching football, man. Like this was literally supposed to change the narrative around HBCU athletics.
I think CEO, that's where I want to leave off of is just football, right? I don't know if Deion started coaching really until like he started coaching his sons, right? He even built the school he built a school for his sons, and then obviously he started coaching the high school because his sons really Shador. I know there's some things with Shiloh, and it seemed like he was with his mom and all that kind of stuff. So there seemed like there's some natural little, one of those. But what I think of is just the timeline of Shador's career versus what Deion's been doing. So he's kind of coached them all the way through, and I don't know what those discussions are. With NFL personnel about Shador getting drafted versus a Caleb Williams at a USC, right? I think Deion Sanders from dominating the SWAC, I mean, let's all be real. He's about, 10 minutes away or another year and a half away from people saying, hey, he ain't playing nobody type thing, right? And when they even come into his son, right? So I think that was a big part of that. And then if you're just looking at the coaching profession, just him being a coach, not too many coaches get the FCS jump to a Power 5. I mean, they might get a lower level FBS school, but rarely do they go from FCS to the Pac-12 or whatever the Pac-12 is now. And I think if you're just looking at his career alone, right? His career alone, that's a significant jump. And why do we have to hold Deion to a standard that we don't hold like Brian Kelly to?
But
right?
I would say this: that's Deion. That's not a normal black coach
at all.
Deion. That's a whole different.
If you say that, you can even say that about him being a black coach because that's Deion. It's kind of also transcended.
Deion could have went to Tennessee Tech and had success, and he still was gonna get ahead of every other black coach.
Also understand how it's not Deion, it's Prime. Like I said, Prime's former teammate Alvin Harper, who was on the Super Bowl Dallas Cowboys, was the head coach of Howard University's football team. Did anybody care? No. Right. And he put out Tracy White played under him, who played at Howard, got a Super Bowl ring with the Patriots. Like nobody cared. This is Prime. It was his celebrity, his status. That was the. You're saying, is it fair? Is it fair? But when you put yourself in that spotlight and then talk that talk,
but how's that so much different than like Brian Kelly faking an accent? Like, you know what I mean? Like that's what coaches do, right?
Wait.
Ain't that what coaches do?
Let's bring this back though. Like the reason we saying it's Prime because we've had way better coaches than Prime in FCS.
Right.
Like Doug Williams, his run with Grambling was way better. Yeah. Like Deion hasn't even won a Black National Championship. He has yet to beat the men.
Right.
Like we've had coach like Pete Richardson at Southern. He definitely should have been at the FBS. Like we've had coaches there, but like I said, it's Prime. That's the only reason. If it was anybody else, they wouldn't have let him go up there. He would
for sure, but I don't know why we should hold it against them if that opportunity is afforded to him, though.
Because
you know what I mean?
Because it's bigger than than the position at head coach. It's bigger than the sport. Like this literally was about the narrative around HBCU athletics. It wasn't just about like if he would have got this job at I don't know if LIU has a football team, but LIU, well, nobody would have cared. Nobody was like, oh, it's whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it's an It's about the HBCUs, and our athletic departments have been left behind.
And let's go with the timeline of how Deion got to Jackson State. Deion has been trying to get into the college game for a long time. He's always wanted to be a college coach. The PWIs turned him down. The FCS PWIs turned him down. That was cool. You know who reached out to him? Jackson State. You know what you need? You know what you need to get to be a FBS coach for him to even take the Colorado job? You need a degree. You know what Jackson State helped him do? Go get a degree at Talladega State. So when that time was right, he can go get an FBS job. So everybody thinking like, oh, it's just Prime just hopped in. No. They put in the work to get him there. They renegotiated their own TV rights deal and let him film his own thing for Amazon called Prime on Prime on campus. And he literally, I seen part of it because somebody showed it to me. And I was like, he literally shits on the people on the campus, shits on the crowd, on the community, shits on like different stuff, like stuff you shouldn't put out in the public. Like you see as an issue, us going to HBCUs, we handle it. Like we're not gonna go to the media and be like, oh, this, and this. We're gonna handle it. We're not gonna.
You're talking this family business, right?
Yeah, this is family business. We're gonna handle this in house. Like if it's an issue, and there's another thing that set me off today. It was when I saw the Shannon Sharps and the Stephen A. Smiths spreading this on these big national platforms.
What did they say? What did they say?
Well, no, basically,
it was basically backing him and trying to tell people to get off his back.
And basically telling us to be grateful. I'm like,
grateful. Yo, Shannon Sharp, what did we said that? Be grateful for the 3 years he
Shannon
gave.
Sharp, I'm really mad. Like, I am so pissed at him because
the dude who played ball for Savannah
what did Dr. Umar do?
Like, he said,
I'm becoming a black man.
I say, he said, be grateful. I say, be grateful is something that the house Negroes used to say to the slave Negroes.
Right.
And like, if you took African American lit, that's what they told you. That's what was in there.
Shannon Sharp played football at Savannah State, an HBCU.
And he went on Twitter yesterday. Let me tell you what Shannon Sharp did. He went on Twitter yesterday.
That's why you mad, son. Tell us why you mad.
He went on Twitter yesterday and said and posted this for the world to see. He's like, man, basically, I wasn't smart enough to go to a PWI, so I had to go to a Savannah State. In Savannah State, HBCUs back then, they were letting our students in. They're trying to make sure we get an education because they knew they wasn't getting the education they needed on the lower, like the high school levels. They knew
he could have brought 48.
Yeah,
he could have brought 48 Division I. Huh?
No, not then, not back then.
What do you say? He came out 86, 88, something like that.
But you got to think about it. Like, still, Savannah State and them are still D1. They just won AA.
Most HBCUs are D1.
Oh, D1.
They're low, they all just.
But back then, only the 1 AA schools could allow you to do that, like for proper.
So then how long? So let me ask you. So you guys are definitely represented, right? Like we're all just kind of getting feedback and chiming in on a whole because it's still family, right? We all still black in here, but you guys are definitely representing the HBCU point of view. Mm-hmm. How long was he supposed to stay there?
Longer than 3 years. I don't know.
I mean, coaches get fired in less than 3 years. I mean, that's what time to get people to turn around a program.
There needed to be more groundwork laid. Like, I'm not saying that he had to end his coaching career and be like 75 and like no, I'm not saying that. But in my opinion, I think at least 7.
But groundwork for what though is my question. Is it groundwork for HBCUs or groundwork for the football program as the coach?
No, groundwork again. This is about the HBCU. It's about the HBCUs as a whole.
What's stopping him?
Not for Jackson State.
But I understand. So him leaving, I get that. But like, what's stopping him from still speaking up and taking action and still backing HBCUs from a different? What can he do? What can't he do from Colorado University that he? What can he do? What can he do from Colorado? From fucking.
I will tell you this: Colorado is paying him to focus on Colorado.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. But I mean, he's still
trust me. None of this HBCU stuff is going to be.
So you don't think that he's gonna rep HBCU? But at the end of the day, he's still a black man in America.
I'll put it to you like this: there are tons of successful black folks in sports on a pro level, on a college level that are not attached to HBCUs.
Right.
That donate and do a lot of things to give back to HBCUs.
Right.
That already exists. This is about time equity. Time equity.
Man, hit us with the time equity.
Time equity.
Got a chart that you about to pull up.
Has far more value than any dollars you ever do because it's a sign of commitment. Like anybody could donate. You got money. Anybody could donate money, but sacrificing or using your time for whatever this mission was supposed to be. Because again, he didn't have to say it. When we saw him there, we knew how big this was for HBCU, not just Jackson State. And then for him to go lean into it, he leaned into it, and then everybody else who had any sort of leverage or power leaned into it with him as well. There was a book this brother wrote, I think it was called After something, but it was basically talking about what HBCU athletics could be. And the book sales went up simply because he was at Jackson State.
So then basically you just need Kanye to tweet about it or Kyrie to tweet about like the book and get it out.
If there's a book I'm not going to read, there's anything else.
That's facts. But so, right. But like.
So here's a question. So Chad poses a great question that was in the comments. So is it him alone?
No.
It's not him alone. Like, all right, let's look at it this way. So HBCU has been getting this big re-emergence and surges of like people and kids coming to the campuses where they've been hitting like all-time numbers, like numbers they were doing when I was in school. You know, like they haven't did those in years. And it actually started when the whole George Floyd thing happened. That's where it started. Like that's when the re-emergence of like HBCUs, like send my kids to Black Scout College so they can know, they can understand. That's when it started happening. And then on top of that, a couple of years later, you had Deion to the mix. And now Deion's in this space, and he's bringing attention to the HBCU space. And I can't forget what Chris Paul did. Chris Paul is doing great work with HBCUs. Mm-hmm. Like he's always, like he don't get enough credit. Like he's doing a lot, and he's putting the money where his mouth is. Like he's doing everything Deion said he was going to do.
Yep.
Paul is. So like that's what
Deion do.
Yeah, that Deion did that though.
Yeah. Deion did the stuff he said he was going to do.
But I think
he did that.
Did he do it all? Did he do some of it? Or are you saying he completed his what he promised? He
what he said he was going to do. He did.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. So I saw a TikTok, right? Because this is the age of social media, and it was a kid that goes to Jackson State, and he's upset, obviously, as everybody at Jackson State is, but he has come to terms because I mean Deion did as we just said. He did what he said he was going to do. He shed light on a lot of topics, and he fought for a lot while he was there. So, but I mean, outside of like monetary like commitments, right? He can still do a lot for HBCUs from Colorado. He can still speak up for certain problems or injustices, right?
It's
not the same. Again, you cannot substitute time equity for anything. It's not like think about this. Like when you look at college basketball, right? Like for decades, like cats are like, I'm going to Duke. Why? Because of Coach K. Coach K was a name, right?
That's true. Yeah.
I'm going to Syracuse because it's Boeheim is there. Or I'm gonna go here because it's Roy Williams. I'm gonna go. They went because of the name. The name, the cachet was able to be leveraged. That's what Prime brought to Jackson State into the narrative around HBCUs.
Right.
Again, it was just the beginning because then you could probably get a couple of more big name, former athletes who are looking to get into college sports, right? Who are looking to coach, and they go, okay, I'll go coach this school, I'll go coach that school. And the recruits are looking like, yeah, I would love to go play for, I don't know, what, Tracy McGrady or like, Anthony Hardaway or something like that.
It's like, let me tell you all this right now. Like, everybody's like, oh, Deion, bro, all this stuff. I say, hell, if Jordan goes aside to coach at HBCU, he's going to do the same thing Deion did. He's gonna bring the same light and attention to Deion because he's Michael Jordan.
Right.
Like that light was gonna follow Deion because he's Deion. Like he didn't really have to do much but be there.
Right.
Hey, what about Eddie George, man? Eddie George is a Hall of Famer.
Eddie George is still not prime.
He's not prime, though.
So that's the thing, right? So you're saying it's prime or nothing? Because no one else.
No. Hold on. Is Eddie George a Hall of Famer?
It's not.
No.
He's Ohio State.
I'm mad he didn't let that slide. So he's like, hold on, wait, pause before we get deeper.
But is he Hall of Famer? If you've seen everything Eddie George said about taking the job, it was not the stuff that Deion was trying to sell.
Right. Somebody
and I respect
that, but you can't like.
No, I can.
He's doing his step, right? Like I'm going there. He didn't have to go there.
Right, but I'm not.
I can't pull off that shit.
He didn't have to sell us. He didn't have to sell us on a Bentley when the whole time he was just going to drive a Honda anyway. Like he didn't have to sell us on that.
But ain't that recruited? But ain't that?
No. I'm not. No.
Like everybody's.
Again, I can't stress this enough. It's not about football.
But it is not to him.
No, HBCU.
No, let me ask you this, DJ. Let me ask you this. So, in the football sense, him leaving as a coach, you're good with that. But as a brother, you're not okay with him leaving. Is that what it is? As a brother, he should have stayed around.
I'm disappointed that he left. He made a business move. I can't be mad at anybody.
I'm disappointed he left.
No. I'm disappointed at the fact that he basically sold the whole culture and everything he meant what HBCUs was supposed to do for that position. Willie, if Willie Simmons left Florida A&M, I'll be like, you know what? Willie Simmons deserves it. You know why? He put in his time. He coached at Prairie View. He coached at FAMU. He's doing a great job. That man deserves it. Deion, like y'all don't understand like how much Deion was getting behind the scenes. That's why I look at the 300K. Oh, he was getting 300K. Yeah, but Jackson State maneuvered a lot of stuff that allowed him to make so much money behind the scenes.
But he was still getting a lot of that back to the school, right?
At their sacrifice.
He was giving half
his salary. That only impacts Jackson State. Again, what his presence was doing to the entire HBCU athletic narrative was we had never seen before. We had never had one person show up. Like the last time we had an influx and just HBCU attention like this, it was a different world.
I saw that on Twitter.
Literally, like his presence alone changed the narrative around HBCU athletics. And he was at one school. He wasn't like the commissioner over the SWAC and MEAC. No, one school. It changed everything.
Right. And he had people coming up to HBCUs like black entertainers who didn't even go to HBCUs.
Yeah, right. So when you guys make the statement that he didn't do anything or he made a bad decision to go to Colorado, well, first of all, he made that clear in his conference or when he got introduced to Jackson State that that's what he was going to do. If I got an offer that was something bigger, then I was going to leave. He made that clear. Everybody knew that was possible. But
wait. He said that that was not in his introductory That was not his introductory. He
He's
said that
always made that clear. We always knew that he would
on the
do that
60-minute
if
piece.
came up
because he definitely code switching. We'll talk about that later.
But going on to what he did for HBCUs, he changed the game to show you this is a new college football game. So this is an NIL game. He showed you with a brand and walking into a college with a brand name, NIL-wise, I can make a college get money that they would have never got in the first place. So what that does to HBCUs is let them know these Power Fives aren't doing that. They're still using retread coaches. So if we jump on the band and we hire the Ray Lewises, the Ed Reeds, and these guys that are well known that recruits will listen to and understanding these Hall of Famers, we can get in the game instead of later, but now because this is an NIL game.
So basically, you want us to make HBCUs be the stepping stone for black coaches to go take white jobs.
You want to play ball, you got to play ball. That's what you got to do. So how are you going to take over Bears?
Instead of rate, like you got to think about HBCU is ours. It's nobody else's. It's not the SEC's. SEC that has nothing to do. We don't own the SEC. We don't own the ACC. We don't own the Pac-12. We own the SWAC. That's us.
But how are you going to own those if you don't start somewhere? But if you got to start somewhere,
right? No, right. But you can't. But for you to say what he did is part of the start somewhere.
Yeah,
is to imply that and again, this is not. It's his decision was about money. But when we come to the HBCU narrative, it's about money to the athletic program. And he's not going to donate millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars to all of the HBCUs. It's about the one drop in the pond that creates the ripple.
But look how much money he made them.
No, but that's Jackson State. Again,
No. They were having sold out crowds at away games.
But again,
make them money.
But again, do you know how many HBCUs there are?
Yeah, I understand that.
Right. So that doesn't do anything.
And let me kill this noise of how much money he made them. Because what you got to realize, he made the city of Jackson money. They didn't go to Jackson State. The stadium they play in is owned by the city. They don't even play. They were Nicky.
So what is he supposed to do? He shot them. They made money.
They
have facility upgrades that they probably would have never had no time.
But did you know they were about to build a stadium? Because Deion was there, they were like the state of Mississippi was about to give Jackson State their own stadium that they can run and bring money in because Deion was there.
Look at their facilities now since Deion in 3 years.
3 years.
3 years.
Hold on. I thought we said earlier that this was about football. I thought we said this is about football. We slid into all the ancillary stuff about it. Right?
Well, I'm just saying because they keep iterating that he didn't do anything for him or he was wrong for leaving. In 3 years, that man did more. What alumni from Jackson State do you know that did anything that close to what he done?
Well, for one, we never said
I know somebody that gave $40 million by themselves, but it all went to academia.
We
don't play that game. Like you can't play that game like, oh, they're not giving.
We never said
we got other stuff to focus on.
But you're talking about Deion though. What about the other school? What about Grambling? All the great people went to Grambling. How much are they giving? You got a lot of NFL players and coaches that went to Grambling or coach. What are they giving? Grambling don't have the top of the line facility. I went to Savannah State, so I know what these facilities look like. I went to these colleges when we went and played some of these schools. I know what they look like. They got NFL players everywhere.
I don't think you were on the call when we first started this.
I was on the call. I heard you the whole time. I just didn't know.
But the reason they don't have this stuff is because they're not getting that land grant money that they're supposed to get.
So why is that Deion's fault?
Nobody said that was Deion's fault. Let me talk about infrastructure without talking about it all.
Hold on, time out.
We're talking about Deion.
We're talking about Deion.
So here goes my
again.
And so I guess my stance on Deion. Hey man, I'm good with him leaving. I have leaving. He mentioned if he takes the players that he recruited, are you good with that? Are you okay with him helping them get all of this talent in there, making Jackson State something, and goes and like he's taking his son, he's gonna take that DB that was the number one recruit that went there. So everything he showed that the SWAC can bring in, he's extracting with the exception of the facilities which belong to the school.
What did old boy do when he went to USC then?
Correct.
He took all the top players from Oklahoma, didn't he?
Lincoln Riley.
What's the difference?
That part.
Yeah, but that's but we're acting, but
that happens. That's part of the game.
Wasn't
Yeah,
so
yeah, but hey, look, but
that's part of the game.
He's going from PWI to PWI. He's not going from HBCU
we cannot
to
have this
PWI.
conversation.
That's a big difference.
We cannot have this conversation and compare actions and how they impact HBCUs as they do in PWIs. It is not even remotely close to being the same. And
okay,
again,
then
understand.
Really quick.
And everything everything that Deion did affected positively Jackson State. And then the ripple effect of that was that it started bringing more attention to HBCs. If you look, Howard now has a Jordan brand deal, right? Jordan could have gotten an HBCU game, but he didn't, right? He got in after Deion did what he did at Jackson State.
Fam, you got a LeBron deal.
Right. Nobody said that Deion didn't do anything. The problem is we're looking at this in the big picture in the long haul. For Black folks and Black schools, we need money. And it starts small. And then it's a long game. If we're going to treat this like it's a PWI, then we're never going to get money in the HBCUs. We don't have the privilege or the luxury to move like they do in other conferences with other schools. We just do not.
Hey, can I ask y'all a question? Do you guys know, and I don't know the answer to this, do you guys know if the athletic department was in full support of what maybe his next 2 to 3 year plan was, Deion's?
Yeah.
Possibly.
Absolutely. They knew that he was going to do that. They just wanted to get what they wanted out the deal.
No, I'm saying, like, I don't know whatever his next plans were, right? 3 to 4 years from now. Maybe he was something else that he needed. Maybe there's some other things in his facility. Was everybody in line like, hey, we got this for the next 5 to 6 years?
Watch that athletic director that's at Jackson State for making that decision to hire Deion. Watch the big opportunities he has. He won't be there in a year or so.
But that's part of my question.
Opened the door.
And what's great about that's I know Ashley. Like, I know who that is. I was like, trust me, he is HBCU through and through. So he's trying to stay because he see long term.
Keyword you said trying to.
That bread talk, man.
Bread talk,
money.
Yeah, bread talk. But one thing that happens is been happening over years. People that have success at HBCUs, especially Black people, they don't take them at FBSs. It's always been like that.
Well, that's what they're trying to change the game on, the narrative.
Like, no, we didn't need Deion to do that.
You actually did, though.
We don't want to be a jumping point.
Yeah, you actually did need Deion. You need Deion.
Let me ask this then. So when you say you don't want to be the jumping point, right? And
one of the things
wait.
Yeah.
Just let me finish this, right? So MH and I bring this up and we have this conversation on a lot of our interviews about a Black coaching pool, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if this is the way for us to get that, it doesn't mean that, like, you can't start here and if I go back, maybe I ultimately come back. You don't know what someone's like journey is going to be and things like that. But if I have to get a start, hell, like you guys know that HBCU started because we couldn't go anywhere else, right? So if he could not go anywhere else, which is one of the claims that you're making, why is it bad for him to go where he was accepted and then build his chops and do good for the place that he went and then move on?
If you were talking about a regular coach, a regular Black coach who was having success, that all are valid points. We talking about Deion. Deion could have went to Sam Houston State, had success, went on to a FBS. He could have went to any other white school in the world and still did had the same track. Right. But everybody's talking about like, oh, look what Deion brought. But look what Jackson State did for him.
100%. But did you start this whole conversation saying that he couldn't get on at those other schools? I remember
he couldn't get on at all.
Conversation that he couldn't get on to those other schools.
Here's the issue with we cannot accept. It doesn't make sense to compare how you can move out of the HBCU culture with how you can within the culture. It does not benefit the momentum or the mission that is to uplift HBCU athletic departments if we're going to initially come out the gate using HBCU athletics as stepping stones. There has to be an investment. Period.
At the end of the day, ultimately, it does benefit the program. You got to think about it like this, right? Hold on, just bear with me. even if it's a stepping stone, if you have coaches that are coming out here and they're performing at 80 to 85% of a success rate of Coach Prime, right? Coach Prime was 12-0 this year, and then he won the championship for that division, the SWAC. So if you have these coaches that are coming out and they're doing 80% of what he did, ultimately they're still going to have a better record. It's still going to bring more. It's going to shine a more of a light over time. And then you're going to have, people who aren't going to, it's going to bring the light to have these coaches that aren't going to use this as a stepping stone. They're going to commit. So in my opinion, you're going to have, if you have coaches that are jumping from school to school, but they're starting at HBCUs, it's still shining the light on HBCUs, but you're still going to have, it's bringing in other money. It's bringing other players. It's going to bring in other coaches.
So you say you want a black conference to be the minor league for PWIs?
No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that it's still shining a light.
That's what you're asking me. That's what you're asking me to succeed to.
Absolutely.
You asked me to succeed to let my HBCUs
5 years ago.
Okay.
5 years ago. But real quick.
Can I ask the HBCU guys that are on here? All of you guys, how many of you? Well, I mean, CEO, this is going to be a little different for you, but how many of you guys went to a HBCU and worked for a black company in corporate America?
Well, I mean, it is different for me now because I am.
It got quiet on here, really quiet. But it got so quiet on here. I had to check, make sure my feet.
Coming out of school, I worked. I mean, at one point it was black owned. I worked for BET.
But BET was black. Okay, you were there a week or so while before he sold it to a predominantly white corporation. Okay, kind of, sorta.
It's no problem. It is though. You want us, you said that you raised the question, all right, who works for a black company? I said, you know why we don't have no black companies? Because y'all trying to make us do the same thing with HBCUs for PWI.
That ain't true.
People in general want us to do the same thing. America already did to us.
No, because I left.
You want us to sell
put his rock.
You want us to sell BET to the white person. That's what you want us to do. You want us to sell.
Because I end up leaving a major corporation to work with black and brothers. So don't say that you make that choice on your own and you take whatever bite you take, and you may take a little down loss, but I took the chance to work with some brothers when I could have made a lot more money continuing to do what I was doing before.
I'm saying
that was a choice. But did that opportunity have flashes? And I'm talking about, did that opportunity have flashes of being better than the situation that you're in the long term, in the future?
I seen the long term versus the short term. So, that's what made me make the decision.
That situation was more looking at some. What am I talking about, CEO? I'm saying is no.
I said that's what we're talking about.
But you're saying that you guys don't want people to enter into historical black colleges and then step onto PWIs because then that's missing the mission. Right. Until there's something else to build up. Okay, B. Hold on. Let's get Brennan in there. Brennan been wanting to say something for a minute, man. Go ahead, B. You got the floor.
I have no problem with Deion deciding that he wants to go to another school and step up, do better for him, and all that. Awesome, dope, cool. Everybody does it. It happens in corporate America. Happens in colleges. But that's not the story, the narrative this guy was talking about. He was talking about building up an institutional pattern for black schools to generate their own talent pools and be the primary mechanism for black kids, black athletes to get to the next level of their professional career. And he said, we don't need white institutions to do that. He just told HBCUs, he told black families that he's been going into trying to recruit that, you know what, actually, nah, it is better over there. That's fine. Just say that from the beginning, but his story was much different than his actions.
But didn't he say
and now that takes institutional change. Like what he went out on was a mission that takes generations. This dude was 2-3 years.
Did the generations have to be him?
Yeah.
But he's the one that said that.
He said it. I don't know what the year is. I don't know what that number is. But I know
you do. You said 7, nigga.
Right. But 3. I know 3 ain't it.
Yes,
and does the COVID year really count? It's really just 2.
Right.
Come on. 5 years ago, problem is, he wanted He wanted to go out on this mission of growing Black HBCUs, programs, etc.
Getting black top recruits to look at HBCUs.
Yes. Did he not though?
No.
I'm not saying he didn't do it,
but you cannot do that for 2 years.
These standards are like, nah.
He basically went on TV. He told,
all right, y'all. Let's make sure we let everybody talk because we can't hear you when you talk.
Travis Hunter, like, you gonna be the change. You gonna be the reason.
And he was.
Kids come to HBCU.
And he was.
But that's
no.
He was.
That is recruiting.
That is
ain't that that's recruiting. What is Deion Sanders? Hold on. What is Deion Sanders' brand? What is his brand? What is his brand? What is Deion Sanders' brand?
Himself.
You're cool with him using the culture to recruit?
No. Let me say this. No. Hold on.
You say it like that, Ross.
I'm just saying. Hey, he dangles the culture in front of you, and you sign on because of the culture. You're okay with him then later on.
What do a lot of hold on? What is Deion Sanders' profession? What is his brand?
Himself.
It's football, right? Any bit on football? Athletics, right?
No,
it's bit on football, right?
It's himself. Let's get it right.
Right.
It's himself.
What is he doing? What is his profession now? What does he do? What is his job? It's a coach, right? He's supposed to win, right, and get the best talent. That's what the coaches are supposed to do, right? Did he not do that?
Yeah, he did.
I'm just asking,
right. So like,
you're avoiding my question.
I'm not avoiding. I'm getting to your question.
I'm getting to
your. If y'all,
yes.
What do you think? I don't like the game. We've all played. The game ain't cool, but that's what they got to do to get people into school, right? Any coach. No, I'm saying literally any coach.
You said the game ain't cool.
It ain't any coach. They'll sell at any school. They will sell you on like, hey, hold on. Hey, I want your son to come in. We're gonna give him a good education. We're gonna take care of him. We're gonna graduate him out. Oh, wait a minute, I got another job here. I'm gone. 2 years. That's the whole reason why the transfer portal exists right now, right? Because that's what it is.
Well,
am I right?
I don't want to never hear anybody complain about white coaches doing the gritty to drag in black players.
Ain't that the same thing though? But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Brian Kelly was doing this.
My thing is you did
with a fake accent to get players. What's it?
My thing is you did it against black people. Like, that's terrible.
But is this discussion that it happens, or discussion that's terrible?
I didn't say it was right. I didn't say it's cool.
That's all
I
I'm
didn't
saying.
say it's acceptable. I say
that's all I'm saying.
He is a college football coach, and they're going to do what they got to do to get the best recruits in. I didn't say it's good. I didn't say it's right. I didn't say it's acceptable. I just say he's a coach.
I cannot stress this enough. We in this conversation, there's so many different layers and complexities, but you cannot have this conversation outside the context of the culture of an HBCU. I do not care what they do over there. HBCU culture is very unique. That you cannot, you can't just do everything that you do elsewhere and apply it there and then think that it's okay. Especially, like it was just said, and it was said multiple times on this show, that you came in here you can't trivialize it or even minimize it to JSU. You came in here saying, I want to change the narrative. I want the top black recruits to look at HBCUs, not just Jackson State, HBCUs. And we all know when it comes to recruiting, players follow coaches. Because and I had a conversation with this before, like, yeah, facilities matter, but when you're dealing with those top-ranking PWIs, all the facilities are pretty much the same. They're showing up because the coaches are there.
Yeah.
These kids are coming so it's no different with HBCUs. They're going to come because of the coaching and the staff. And if you now know that the coaches at HBCUs, if you get like another prime type figure, they're only going to be in there for a year and a half. First of all, this dude left mid-season. That's a whole other conversation. But to come and be here for 2 years and then dip, like, how do you think that's going to benefit? You can't feed or nourish the building of the athletic program, and the coaching staff are not going to be there.
Maybe not, but I see Deion as a father. I see Deion as a father of a quarterback, and I see him as a coach. Honestly, and that's what he's doing.
And all the stuff he said, it basically was 2 steps forward. No, it's 2 steps back.
Right.
It's not.
I just looked it up. Honest, to be completely honest and completely transparent, if you do not attend an HBCU, then you're not it's hard for you to really have a dog in the fight to truly understand, because this is bigger than just. It's not just like Black social,
right?
It's a completely different thing.
And I've seen that conversation. That's why I definitely tapped you and made sure that we had that representation. I don't know how I feel. Like, I get to where you guys like, oh, it's just different. If you ain't been there, you don't know it. And But just like Deion said today, like, I'm still Black. I'm still hopefully have a kid that I want to know about, bringing them to that. But to say that it's exclusive, that we don't have that conversation when someone's supposed to be building the institutions that we were brought up on, or know that's just like saying I wasn't a slave, so I can't be talking about picking. No. But
EJ, I'll say this for Black folks in general, all across the globe, our realities may be the same, but our experiences aren't.
100%.
So that's why I can say that. Our realities are the same. Our realities are when we walk out that door, if we happen to run into law enforcement, there's a good chance we may not come home. That is our reality, right? But our experiences are not all the same. So that's why I say, like, if you didn't go, you could be Black, but if you didn't grow up in Black culture, it's, there's going to be certain nuances and certain things that you're just going to miss. So not attention to HBCU, especially, I feel like pretty much everybody on here is a former collegiate athlete at some point, right? I played at a PWI before I transferred to Howard. It is worlds apart. Like, it's a completely different thing. So it's hard. That's why I say it's hard for you to really understand if you haven't been there and gone through those experiences. And we don't want like the next crop of athletes to come to HBCU and have to deal with piss poor conditions like a lot of us had to. We want the money to come in. Right, some HBCUs are state funded, some are privately owned, right? Because they're not all this, they're not all the same in that sense. So we need more crimes to stick it out and really invest time, equity into building it out. Again, not their whole life, but it just has to be more than a cup of coffee.
Right. Give me a hot five. That's it. That's all we asking for.
Because
the change that can happen is not just for the college or the university. The change that he was talking about making was changing the hearts and minds of Black families and convincing them, and elite athletes, not just regular athletes, like getting the top talent in the
top recruits,
the top players, helping them think about HBCUs, not just Jackson State.
He was preaching all HBCUs, or was he preaching to make his
HBCUs?
I just want to ask.
All HBCUs.
I'm not tripping off Jackson State. Like, my argument has nothing to do with Jackson State. Yeah, he was trying to make change for like.
Real quick, did he not create that change for all HBCUs? Because after a quick Google check, right? After a quick Google check.
No,
enrollment is his.
It was already going. It was already increasing.
But we're talking about no, the fuck it was not.
No,
5 years ago. 5 years ago, we're not having the same conversation about
it's already
today, right? 5 years ago, right? Real quick, 5 years ago.
This is what
When was the HBCU?
This is what happens when
people movement 5 years ago.
This is what people
I just want to know.
HBCUs don't know about HBCUs.
So it doesn't, but it doesn't matter about Coach Prime. In my opinion, it's not. It comes down to a community aspect. Like, I did not graduate college, right? And I'm going back, right? And I want to go back. I'm going to do online school, but I'm going to enroll in an HBCU. And it's not because of Coach fucking Prime. It's not because of any sports. It's because of you. It's because of CEO. It's because of y'all. I'm not going back because of Coach Prime. I'm not playing sports, but still, enrollment as a whole is up like 25%. It's been on a slow crawl from 1978 to 2018 at facts. 18%, right? We're jumping 7% for all enrollment over all HBCUs in 3 years.
I got you. Skillet, I got you. I'm going to break it down for you, and I'm going to let you know why the 2 years don't mean shit.
He said, "Don't mean shit." Nigga push his beanie back and everything. Talk to us.
As an individual, right? What do they say? How long does it take for just a person, an individual, for you to change?
21 days to create a habit.
21 days. Just one person. Just you. It don't impact nobody else. Just you to make it a habit, right? We're talking about all across the board, a complete change in thinking and narrative for millions of people, not just thousands, millions, because you're, like he said, we're talking about entire families, because when these high school athletes have these discussions about where they want to go, these are discussions they have with their family. So that means everybody has to be on the same board. It's not going to change moving forward indefinitely because Prime was at JSU for 2 years. That's just not how it works. Like you need consistent visibility and consistent time equity. Like a different world, when that came out, that automatically increased the enrollment HBCUs because it was there. When it stopped and hip hop took over, right down. It takes generation. It takes years. We're talking about decades and decades.
He still was a ripple though, man.
Over again.
Yeah, it still definitely was right.
But you know what it does, DJ CL, what it does change and what door he did open? A lot of these ex-NFL players who don't have coaching experience, where do they have to go? They got to go to high school and coach there to try to build up that they can coach. What it does open up is now these HBCUs may give these guys a chance. And then once again, the NIL is the biggest thing. If you come in there with a brand, you come in there with sponsors, you come in there to grow that particular university, it opens that door for him. So he actually did help by showing them to don't think that's beneath you to take that type of job. It don't have to be a bigger job. You can take HBCU and get there just as quick.
But there's always been former pro black athletes.
It's like that's not new.
But they weren't trying. That's my point. Deion did not have to take that job. He could have waited it out, and he would have ended up getting one.
Let's get to the facts. He had no job offer. He was out begging white institutions for jobs. He didn't get zero jobs.
Please.
He got one eventually.
No, he got zero. He got
zero. Over how long?
Nobody was touching. Deion didn't even know he needed a degree to get a FBS job until he went to HBCU and they told him that's what you need.
King Gene, you just seem like a Deion hater, man. You just hate on the Prime, man.
No,
just get on board the Prime Time, baby.
I'm giving you the facts.
At the end of the day,
Prime Time, baby. Just all you got to do is ride the boat with him, and you understand.
But at the end of the day, he didn't need JSU to step in.
No boat.
Yeah, he didn't need JSU to step in and help him.
You're right.
That is not the truth. You said he didn't need it. Why?
But he didn't need JSU to step in and help me. You think
the man had money? Man was on TV every Sunday.
If JR said go fucking
why did he do that?
Wait a minute, I done lost control.
Nobody wanted him. These are the facts. I will lay the timeline. Listen to the timeline.
Let's go, Bob.
Listen to the timeline.
Okay, Gene. Okay.
Here's the timeline.
Okay. Go ahead, Bob.
I'm in these HBCU circles.
The thing about it is, King Gene, it's obviously you're a prime time hater. Because you keep talking about they didn't need him. You keep talking about he didn't do nothing for him. He did everything for him. They got new facilities now, brother. Have you seen that facility? Obviously, you haven't. And you probably wished he went to your old HBCU to help him with that facility, and he didn't. So that's where you're mad at because he didn't go there. But you better hope that one of these other big names.
We fine.
No, actually, you're not fine. Because that's why you got so much anger in you. Because you're not fine. So let's just be real about that. You're not fine. Prime Time did his thing.
Let me educate you since you don't know. Like I was in these circles, and if you want to be true, the person who hired Deion in Colorado is my family. So I know all this stuff.
Oh, so we should blame you.
Like I know everything about this.
Well, King, it's obviously he didn't call you to ask you was it an okay hire.
Sit back and listen to the story.
He didn't call you to ask you was it an okay hire.
I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna give it to you.
So hold on, IG, you got the floor.
You got it.
You know, your family works there.
Before Deion actually wanted to he was trying to get into coaching. He was trying to get into college coaching. All these people were trying to get they tell him no. All these schools were telling him no. And it was Deion. And you know what happened? Ashley Robinson, who is the AD at Jackson State, he heard Deion was looking for a job. And everybody was telling him no. He told Deion, you know what? You know what you need? Like, I know you're trying to get to these FBS. They turning you down. You got to get a degree. You know what he did? He said had him go to Talladega. Fast track his degree so he can get a degree to be a college coach. Then he goes to JSU because Ashley Robinson, the AD, he reached out. He heard he wanted to be a coach in college. He reached out to Deion, like, Deion, hey, I know this is not the PWIs you've been looking for and all this, but you know what? I'm gonna bring you in. I want to bring you in. You prime. I'm gonna bring you in, give you this opportunity, and give you this platform. And that's exactly what Ashley Robinson did. And people forgetting all this stuff, like, oh, it was just Deion chose Jackson State. No, Jackson State chose him.
But King Gene, but understand this though. How many times have you been told no and refused in your life? All it takes is somebody to believe in you, and that's what he got. Maybe he was told no plenty of times, but he got somebody to believe, and what did he do? He showed up, and showed out. Just like he said.
But like you trying
why are
to
you
say,
mad about that?
Like, you trying
all
to
he
make
wanted
it like
was a
Jackson
chance.
State and put in the work.
So how many people? So now by him and somebody giving him a chance, it opens the doors for a lot of those other ex-athletes to be able to walk in that door, and they've been told no 1,000 times. And one of these HBCUs say, "I'm gonna give you a shot," because Deion got a shot, and look what he did. So now I'm gonna give you a shot, and then once again, NIL. It's about brand. It's about how can you get people to donate? Can you get people to come follow you? That's what it's about.
Go DJ.
Well, I'm gonna say this. First of all, one, stop minimalizing this to Jackson State. This is not about Jackson State. Again, this is about HBCUs as a whole. The only people that benefited, who benefit in, I won't even say the long term, but just longer than the short term, is Jackson State. Period. Right? So again, if he would have came in and not said nothing, and this is like, I'm the head coach, because there's a lot of pro athletes that do that. They just take the job and they do their thing, and then he decided to move, nobody would have said anything.
That's right.
He created a platform and was like, yo, we are changing the narrative about HBCU athletics. We want all these back. He did all of that and then was like, I'm out. You can't act like that's okay.
What's going on, family?
Hey, Bob.
Yeah.
What I saw was, it wasn't about a coach. Oh, okay. It wasn't about a coach coming into Jackson State or coming into a HBCU. This was an example of one of the most elite athletes ever in the history of sports choosing an HBCU.
Mm-hmm.
That's what every other kid that's in middle school and high school saw. And that's what he built his platform on. If he had not done that, I wouldn't trip.
Right.
If he said it was just a loop play, I wouldn't trip.
What was he supposed to say?
He didn't have to say nothing.
Every other coach says.
He didn't have to say nothing.
Every other
He's
coach
prime.
Coach
Hold on.
Prime.
I'm gonna use the thing y'all keep saying. He's prime though. Like, when does prime not say some ostentatious shit? Like,
No. All he could have did, he could have leveraged his brand to just big up his football program, and that's it. But he didn't. He used his brand to big up all of the HBCU athletic departments and say, "Hey, top recruits, HBCU."
I've been waiting for this before we go into that. Go ahead, G.
Alabama.
No, I said he used all those black names as like the reason why everybody should be here and why all these black kids should come to the HBCU.
Smart move. That's what he's supposed to do. He's a recruiter. Smart move.
No.
And that's the difference from people that went to HBCU and people who didn't. That the people that didn't go to HBCUs. That's what their view is.
Can I ask you this question then?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't one of your selling points when you ask people to go to HBCUs is because of the culture and the experience? Don't you guys sell that?
Right, but
no. That's part of it. That's part of it. But it's the fact that we have all the top judges come from HBCUs, all the lawyers come from HBCUs, all the engineers come from HBCUs, all the top black. Everything comes from HBCUs. Right. That's what we sell it on.
And it also, and be very clear.
The culture is you.
And be very, very clear. The only time HBCUs.
Hey, before you say that though, DJ, I don't want to go to Howard Homecoming with you because of all the judges that's graduated from there. I'm not trying to go to Howard Homecoming weekend.
Yeah, no, we'll be Vegas. So look, if it like. The only time HBCUs come together, right, in a situation like this is when we're sitting here and we're trying to explain to everybody outside who's never experienced our culture what it means to be here. Because at the end of the day, I rep Howard. I graduated from Howard. You graduate from Jackson State or Savannah State or Southern or Hampton or Delaware State, Morgan, whatever the case, we rep our schools. We, when there's like maybe something like an HBCU event. Like we still gonna rip our school, but it's all HBCU love. When these conversations, these topics come up, we come together and we stand together because yes, we represent the culture, but nobody's ever had to like. When I went on Black college tours, I wasn't at other HBCUs and they were telling me, "Oh yeah, you should go to any HBCU." No, they were like, "Come to this school." So for his recruiting tactics, why would he need to sell all the HBCUs if he's the head coach of Jackson State? He could have just said, "Come to Jackson State." No, that's not what he did. He said
he doesn't need to do anything. He's recruiting, right?
No.
That's
but
smart.
He did though. But he did.
That's smart.
I didn't say it's right. I say, but he doesn't need to do anything. He just needs to recruit and get the best for his, right? Am I wrong? Am I right?
He did. Now leaving looks bad on HBCUs, and that's the point. Like he did what he had to do for Prime, and now he left.
If I had kids,
Prime and Shador. Don't forget that part.
Shador.
That's the best.
Not Shiloh. Not Shiloh.
Not Shiloh. Shador though. Shador.
Yeah.
Great.
Shador.
One band. One sound.
I'm asking this question. Right. EJ.
You fool.
EJ. Anybody that go to HBCU, can y'all call or talk to any of y'all old professors that you was in college?
Yeah.
I'm saying none HBCUs.
We listened to like 5 years ago.
No,
they tried to outside
CEO. That was.
I'm talking to everybody else that didn't go to HBCUs.
Okay.
Yeah. So I have one that listens to this show. And I call her mom. So yes, I have those kind of relationships. You know what I mean? Like I get you guys think that it only happens there, but I'm still Black and I'm still of the culture. So those relationships and things we still built those in those smaller places because we're at PWIs and it's smaller of us. We are just as unified. I got people that like are coming into town next week. Like I got a swimmer because he's a Black swimmer on a PWI campus that calls me and we still talk. So I get it that you guys have a dynamic place where it's really easy and simple to have that, but these things do happen at other places as well. You guys capitalize on it because it's eccentric to our culture. Our culture as a people are the most giving, most nurturing, and most loving and accepting people. And I think that's why we're having such a hard time with this is because it hurts us. So as CEO started the conversation, he said that he wasn't mad, he was disappointed. And that's where we come as a culture is we take things personally so much because of all of the trauma that we've built. And we come from a trauma society that we have not healed from because we always accept that we let people in. And then we're always disappointed because we want them to do so much more for us. And I think that's the largest part of all of this is because like, yeah, I felt some type of way because of course I would love for Deion to stay. And then I was like, well, shit, if he's going to leave, don't leave for the whitest of the white. Don't go to Colorado, right?
Hold on.
It could have been Wisconsin.
Hold on.
Minnesota, perhaps.
Hey, listen, my co-host is a Colorado.
Hold on.
DJ want him to go to Temple.
Hold on. Hold on. Can I answer your Gene's question?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I can call. They just won't answer. Right? I can call a lot of my professors. They just won't answer. But I went to school to play football, right? And I'm going to get back to this part, right, of Deion. His brand is football. Now, whether we like it or not, it's up for question. But he's a football coach, right? And I will get back to his son because I think that is a real thing. Shador, not Shiloh, his son. When we talk about his son versus Caleb Williams from USC, is there a comparison of those skill sets? They're both sophomores.
No.
Do they compare? Let me ask you guys this: Do we compare them at all?
It's not even close.
No,
not even close. Is it a skill set or just
it's natural skill set?
Natural skill set. Okay.
I don't even see that.
Hold on.
Experience.
Hold on. So now, hold on. Can I finish?
Let the boy finish.
Can I finish? Now we see Shador in the same conference, right? Is there a different comparison now between the two athletes than it was 2 months ago?
We don't know.
We don't know. He still got to show up.
Yeah, he still got to go up.
But now they're on the same conversation. Now they're in the same level. They're in the same level of talent. It's the same conversation. They play in the same conference. It's a much different conversation when it looks at NFL status for Shador and now Caleb Williams.
Because I'm gonna tell you what, if Shador had to put those numbers up playing for Colorado,
thank you,
he'd be in the Heisman
Trophy. He'd be right there in New York with Caleb Williams.
At Jackson State, he's not in the Heisman race because they're going to go about the date.
And that's my point. So here's my question to you, MH.
Okay.
How long do you think it will be before a starting quarterback could put up those numbers at an HBCU? And be
next
prepared?
year.
No way in hell. No way.
I'm saying a starting quarterback can put those numbers up next year.
No.
Did he put up numbers? He put up numbers.
Wait. Talking about Akil Glass. Akil Glass put up better numbers than Shador, and he didn't have all-world talent.
And be compared, MH, and be compared. Like, not saying we can't have this conversation until you go over there. How long do you think it'll be before a starting quarterback at an HBCU can put up those same numbers? And it's not about the fact that he's an HBCU, but he's looking at it again.
I don't know. I don't think we all know the question. It's probably not 2 years. It's probably not 2 years. But this is my point. But this is my point. That goes back to my point of Deion Sanders being a dad to Shador. There's 2 more years left for Shador, right? I'm trying to get Shador first-round pick as a dad. If I got to go to CU to do that in this 2 years, well, damn it, I'm going to CU to do that.
Yeah. Mama call him Clay. I'm going to call him Clay, man.
But you can't be mad at us for him.
I'm not mad at y'all.
No, you can't be mad at us for the way he and question why we mad about how he used the HBCU culture.
All I'm saying is
I never questioned. Hold on, I never questioned y'all. I never said why y'all mad. I never say why y'all disappointed. I said he's a football coach and a dad of Shador.
No, I agree.
That's all I said, and that's what football coaches do, and this is what dads do.
And if he would have never sold us an all HBCU alumni, undergrad, and black,
that's ridiculous, man.
30 game, no.
Hey, he could have did that at Sam Houston State. He didn't have to come to HBCU.
That's who gave him the job, though.
But let me ask y'all a question.
That's an opportunity.
Can I ask y'all a question? Let me ask y'all a question. Did y'all feel the same way when Doug Williams left Grambling for the Redskins?
Doug Williams did not get on the first of all. Doug
gave the same speech.
Doug Williams had to leave.
Doug gave that speech.
There's a reason Doug Williams had to leave.
I'm just saying. Because I didn't hear nobody talking about Doug Williams is wrong. He leave it to the Redskins. He gave the same speech on HBCU.
Bob, you're reaching. I'm gonna tell you why you're reaching.
You say reaching.
I ain't reaching.
No, I'm gonna tell you why
I'm touching it. I'm touching it.
Doug Williams is the first black quarterback to win a Super Bowl, and he still ain't have the same platform or celebrity as Deion Sanders. You're not even talking about the same person. Period.
But look what you just said.
What?
The respect level, because he was the first black quarterback to win a Super Bowl.
No.
But he
I know this because I know my history. Point of the matter is nobody's checking for Doug Williams.
No. He was forced to leave.
So that's Prime's problem. That's Prime's fault because all y'all checking for him.
No, we're gonna check you for the culture.
You can't.
So why don't you check Doug for the culture?
No, but this is my point.
Doug got kicked out for some shit he was doing.
Yeah.
That's why.
Bob, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this again.
Was it just at the bottom of the screen?
If he would have came in and
he wild out. Now Doug was a wild boy.
If he would have came in and kept his mouth shut at the school. If he would have came in and kept his mouth shut, nobody would have said anything.
No, because Doug was the head coach when I went to Savannah State. Now he was a wild boy. So I'm pretty sure whatever they saying he did, he probably did do. But my point is, nobody talked about Doug
because Doug wasn't.
Doug Williams was forced because of stuff he did on campus.
That's like saying
wild boy. He was a wild boy. There's a lot of wild boys out here.
He didn't go to Washington. He didn't want to go.
He did. No, yeah, he did. He wanted to.
One more question.
Okay, and I got one. You got
one more question. I think we lost. Eric had made a good point about J.R. Smith. EP, you made a good point about J.R. Smith a little bit earlier. Can you make that point again? That's what you were saying about J.R.
Coach Prime did not need JSU to go to school. He's worth millions. At the end of the day, if someone was like, "Hey, you need your degree to coach," he would have gone to any other school in the country. They would have happily accepted him. He could have gone to Bama. He could have gone to UT. He could have gone to wherever, Duke, whoever. They would have accepted him, and they could have still fast tracked him.
Like that. You're thinking of hyperbole.
No, it's not a hyper. It is technically it's a what if, but definitely like
that's a what if, but it's the facts.
But his status, but his status and his money, any school would have fast tracked him if he was like, "Oh, I need my coaching degree.
Yeah.
Oh, let me call up.
Nobody
let me
did.
call up. You know,
look,
Bob Stoops. It doesn't matter.
You
So
saying
I have
that?
a question. I have a question.
Eric, you're saying that, but nobody did. Only Jackson State did.
I was about to say, why did everybody tell him no?
I can't answer that question. Coaching.
I can tell you. I can tell you why. I can tell you exactly why.
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Because ain't no PW. See, Jeff Saturdays only happened because Jeff Saturday is white. Ain't no PWI hiring a loud ass nigga to be running their fucking football program. I can
you just
guarantee
did.
you that.
Didn't they see you just do
No. Without coaching experience.
Okay.
He hot now. He hot
He's
now.
hot now, right?
But he don't have coaching experience.
Back then they didn't want me. Now I'm hot.
He hot now. You have
They all
he
on
got no
me.
coaching
I'm trying to win,
experience.
baby.
He got no coaching experience. He's loud. He's arrogant. Ain't no PW behind that.
I'm
They
trying
not.
to win.
You know that.
I agree with this comment. Prime has the pool, period. Right?
Yep.
If it came down to his degree, he could have literally gone. He got his degree. He could have gone anywhere. They're going to follow him. It doesn't matter.
But it didn't happen that way.
At the end of the day, it's about money. At the
It
end of the day, everything comes down to money.
It didn't happen.
It's easy for him to make the point.
They didn't want crime. They didn't want Prime shucking and
3 years
jiving
ago.
at their PWI.
3 years ago.
Diving.
They didn't want that.
That's 3 years ago.
He was like, you know what?
If he
You
would have
want
gone
to
back
shuck his
to school,
jive out here with
You
us.
said
If he
he
would've
could
gone
have
back
went
to
to any
school and got his
school,
degree.
and all those schools said no.
I'm talking education wise.
Hey,
I'm not talking about coaching.
Yeah, what
He
up,
said
what up?
JSU fast tracked him for school. Whatever.
Yeah,
He
why
could
did
have,
he?
but the coach Ashley, right? He put him on. He said, "Yo, I can't hire you because you don't have your degree." Now that he knows
Why
that
didn't he
information,
offer him the opportunity to be fast tracked?
but he did that because he wanted the money. He
But none of
wanted
the
the
other
fame for his
schools- none of the other
program.
schools was
He
doing that.
wanted the
None of the
attention
other schools
for
did.
his program.
Hey,
for sure.
MH,
Because
what
other
was
schools
they
aren't thinking
playing
like
and when Prime walked in with the students? What did they have playing the music?
Hold on, real quick. Before you answer that question,
Boy, they
before you
turned it
answer
on
that question,
quick.
The other schools.
I'm talking about
didn't-
winning, baby.
The other schools didn't need.
Yeah.
He's not getting that at Colorado.
The other schools didn't need it like
Is
JSU
this your
needed it.
theme? No, is this your theme that you just heard?
DJCL. Hey,
He
say
did that at
if you was a recruit and you seen that and you seen him walking in on that music, that ain't gonna make you want to go to that school he at. I don't
Absolutely.
care where he at. You gonna play
It
for
doesn't
him.
matter where it is.
Wait, what?
You gonna play for Prime.
They're
Coach
not
Prime,
they're
sir,
not
is
playing
this your
this
bag?
at
This your
Colorado.
bag,
They
Coach
playing
Prime.
trash.
They are. I bet you they still turning up. in the locker room.
Did you watch the video when he walked in to talk to the students?
What they
I'm
playing,
coming.
Seven Nation
I'm
Army?
coming.
Yeah, they had it going.
I'm coming.
He said, "I'm coming," and that's my theme music.
Hey, go ahead and
Yeah,
jump in the
that's it.
portal. Go ahead and jump in the portal.
No,
Because we have a quarterback.
Got that. Go ahead and jump in.
Speaking of the
And a 5-star receiver and a 5-star running back.
Hey, look, speaking of the interview, let's talk about that code switching he did out there. Let's talk about that. Like he straight code switched the way he interviewed when he interviews with Jackson State. How it was all chill and it was all urban. And then all of a sudden he's real popular. My son Shador, he's coming too. And my son Shiloh is coming.
You are such a Prime hater, G.
Don't sound like
It's like ridiculous, dude.
Hey, Silas in the doghouse for me because
It's
he's
no crime.
Oh, man, it's
Silas' crib.
And one thing that
The
pisses me
hell?
off, he must have there's no crime in this area. Like, dude, why would you even tell anybody that?
But is he lying?
I wouldn't go say, "Oh, Colorado leads the league in mass shootings." Like I wouldn't say that. Like that's the
league.
Like, don't
Not
do
the
that.
I'm trying to win, baby.
Okay,
I'm trying to win, baby.
So, but that is a point, though, right? Like, I mean, he brought it up, and the way he brought it up, and then, I mean, so this is why we have this, right? This is our family conversation. We got the family on the line commenting, so I think everybody that's commented, but that's a part of it, right? Because of the hate that was coming toward, like they busted his son's car up and stole his radio, like this place that he's supposed to be bringing all this, stuff to. They were robbing him.
And they stole all of his shit out the locker room during the
Shit out the locker
And then
room.
cell phone, wallet, rings,
Come
all
to
that.
find out that wasn't even true.
Have you ever been to Jackson, Mississippi?
G got the scoop, boy.
G's not right. G.
I know all these stories because I'm dating
G, baby.
you.
Have you
If you
ever
say something, you better be telling the truth.
if
Boy,
you
G got the scoop. What Kyler Murray doing?
Right.
Just like I told you about Kyler Murray. Straight trail. Y'all don't listen.
If you ever been to
Oh,
Jackson,
geez,
Mississippi, if you ever been to Jackson, Mississippi, what happened to Prime at Jackson State or his son's car is par for the course. So it ain't about.
Damn, you say you gotta take it, huh? Ain't that a bitch?
It is what it is, man. DC used to be like that until it got gentrified.
Yeah, but there's certain niggas you just don't
walk it off. What do you tell? Walk it off.
That's why I'm going to Colorado, so I ain't got to worry about that.
But again, at the end of the day, you wouldn't have heard a word from one black person if Deion didn't go in there kicking that mess, and he would have just took the job, did the job, and left. Nobody would have said a word.
Not a word.
Once he went on that campaign, you can't put the genie back in the bottle.
Because
but you asking him not to be prime time. He did what you expect from prime time.
No, he could have done it just for Jackson.
No, he did it because he's prime time.
Name another coach.
You keep forgetting the brand.
Name another coach. But name another coach when recruiting for their school mentions all the other schools in their.
Well, name another coach that got P. Diddy and them stopping by. You got Ross. You got all these people stopping by just to hang out. You got them donating bread. You got them hanging out with the culture that these kids love, and they seeing some of their favorite stars sitting there watching them play football. You don't see that at all these places.
He could have just kept it for Jackson State. He did not.
And he kept it for HBCU, which is why I don't understand why y'all hating. He helped y'all out, man.
And arguably at the end of the day, he did what he was supposed to do.
Nobody else. He helped Deion out.
Yeah, he helped y'all.
I'm trying to all-time high.
I'm trying to win, baby.
I'm with it.
Baby. That's what's all about. Trying to win, baby.
He's jumping because of Deion. We got people lying about he did it for the culture because of Deion. None of this is true. Y'all just, and that's the issue. And that's the issue with people like HBCUs and everybody else. It's like, this is not the facts. Speak the facts first.
What about his ordained vision from God that told him to come through here?
That's what he said.
That's what he said. Now I don't know much about much. Now, okay, but the man said that was ordained from the man above.
That's what
I don't play with religion. Y'all leave that alone.
Yeah, I'm about to say,
the man said them steps was orders from the man upstairs.
They might have been, EJ. You don't know. The Lord might have told him to do that.
Go ahead, go. It's time. He said, I'm coming.
Yeah.
That's all. I'm coming.
There's a reason he got that theme music. The Lord told him that was your thing, boy. Get out there with that music. You can't go out there without a band, baby. You got a band, you can do whatever you want in this world.
Yeah.
Well, we're not
some of y'all need to get y'all some bands.
We're not going to call what Colorado has as a band. It ain't the same thing as Jackson.
It's definitely not the same thing.
No, we trying to win football game. That's what we trying to do.
Nobody cares.
That goes back to that.
Yeah, with PWIs, nobody gives a shit about the band.
Okay.
Don't be shocked if he start trying to get like majorettes and stuff. Like he gonna like knowing Deion, he gonna try to take the culture that was at HBCU and bring it to Colorado.
Okay, let me ask you this. Can I ask though?
What's Brittany's name? The IG hoe, the one that got the NBA players.
Brittany.
He gonna get her. She
went to Jackson State though.
She did.
Oh, she did.
Yeah, she actually was like an all pro athlete at Jackson State.
Gene, no, I'm just Gene scoops. And we
Gene scoop. Gene, let me hear about
that
boy.
Gene, change your name right now. Next podcast, it better be Scoops. No Gene Scoops. Period.
When EJ and MA say per our sources, we know exactly who they mean.
Exactly.
It's Scoops.
Facts.
Man, y'all got a point with all of this other things around the culture, music, other artists that he brings in, athletes, etc. I get it. But let's not kid ourselves that universities and colleges aren't about education. Their brand, how successful they are, is all about how many people are getting to the pros. And when I say the pros, I don't mean just sports. The reason that Harvard is worth so much, and Wharton and Kellogg and Penn, Berkeley, Stanford, is because of all of the people that make it to the next level and are the best of the best and whatever it is they do. And we want to see other people that look like us in HBCUs. The reason that Howard's going up, a big part of that is our goddamn vice president. Is
first of all, let me just say that first.
Oh, here we go.
Oh boy.
Damn, I fucked up.
You have to pick another school.
Wow.
You have to pick another school. Howard been up.
But I'm just saying, for the HBCUs, let's be real. Yeah. It's about who's the best of the best and whatever it is that they do that's coming from your university.
Yeah.
And collectively, as HBCUs, we don't have people that look like us that are in those spots. And when we get an opportunity to see the best of the best, and Prime was one of those that came through that program, and he was able to get kids, not because of the music, not because of all the rap, hip, like it wasn't that. It was because they saw these other athletes like, oh, goddamn, the best of the best in the NFL will actually come here. Like, and will there be a consistent pattern of that? Because if I had kids, I'm kind of like, if I have a kid that's in McDonald's All-American, top 100, and I'm like, do I want them to go to HBCU or do I want them to go to play for Kalahari and play for, some of them other cats? And Prime was on the way to changing that.
Let me say,
he was on the way to that. And now I think it took a lot of that out where people were like, nah, you bullshit.
He took the win out of the. He took the win out of the sale.
He's not bullshit.
I'm not mad that he went. Bob,
can I make just one statement?
I'm not tripping on that.
Go ahead.
I get it. Like he wants to be bread. He wants his kids. Cool.
Do you think that these recruits are still not going to go to HBCUs overnight?
They will pause.
So you don't think that like the progress he made with HBCUs, right?
Eric, it's too early to say.
Exactly, it's too early.
My bet is no. Because I
can't say wholeheartedly
change narratives.
Remember, my point is
100% of these recruits are not going to just step away from HBCUs.
I'm saying
5 to 10, maybe 15-20%.
They already have,
but you're still having more.
They already have.
Because the reason you go to a school is because you want to see who's in the pros.
Right.
Like he needed to be there to see 2 or 3 classes. Like how many of those kids are going to get to the next level?
You know what we really need? We need somebody that was like Bobby Bowden when he took over Florida State and Coach K when he took over Duke. Those programs were bottom of the barrel, bottom feeders had no money.
What is Colorado?
No, Colorado has money.
What is Colorado? The bottom of the barrel, man. What you talking about?
Florida State had none of that.
Gene, you just out here talking because you hate me.
Let me ask y'all this.
Yes, they hating you, Gene. They're just hating because Colorado's at the bottom of the barrel. What you talking about?
But Colorado got money.
Colorado they bottom of the barrel. They got money at the bottom.
They still
hold on.
Bob, Colorado's not the bottom of the barrel. I don't
know what you're talking about.
If I went and looked at Colorado's endowment, if I went and looked at
Colorado
is the best in the next level,
I'm talking about football, Brandon. I ain't talking about.
I'm just saying, period. That it's not about football.
Football on the football level, coaching wise, they're the bottom of the barrel.
About football, B. This
but
is
it
football.
is.
Hold on,
money, university money, and football go hand in hand.
But quick, is it about football or is it about the university?
It's about money now. It ain't about football no more.
So if it's all about money,
that's why Prime changing the game. That's why the NIL game, and he's seen how much money they had in the bucket at Colorado and said, wow, if I got that much money in the bucket, you think I can't make nothing happen with it?
At the end of the day,
and I just went to Jackson State.
NIL money.
But he was just at Jackson State, and they ain't even had water. What you talking about? What you talking about? They over there drinking real bottled water at Colorado State, and I was just at Jackson State, and they ain't got water. So yes, it's about money.
All right. So we got a couple questions I want to hit to, man. So we're jumping off. So really quick, by show of hands, answer that question really quick.
No doubt. What you think? Rick Ross gonna be at the next game, B?
There, he got one of these on already.
Did he?
He already got one. We got a sweat.
And you
gonna get Chris Brown. Chris Brown goes on the field and do a backflip.
If they all go there, they corny as hell.
First of all, all the weed that they sell in Denver, man, listen, they pulling up.
So imagine the NIL deals from the weed game up there. Come on, man. Colorado about to be hitting. Everybody gonna want to go up there in a minute. It's gonna be hitting in Colorado. You want to get up there and be with Prime Time.
And then this is a great question.
That is a good question. This is a good question.
This is a good question. I want y'all to take time to look at that and then answer this too.
That is a good question because that was a question I had for Gene.
We don't want to bring in the culture to PWIs. That's the point. That is the whole point. We don't want to be available because there's still black people or African Americans, as Prime said, that are going to be at that.
At the end of the day, it's about progression.
Our entire existence as black people in this country has been taking our culture and giving it over to white folks or them stealing it. It's been that since the beginning, since we got here, right? And nobody wants the whole conversation is about building up HBCU athletics. Why would we care about doing what we've been doing for damn near 100 years by sending our top black talents? Well, when they eventually let us in, but sending our top black talents to white, we've been doing that.
But DJ CEO, don't you think that Prime's going to offer a lot of big time jobs to a lot of black people who are well deserving that didn't have these coaching experiences?
And none of this helps.
And let me tell you, something behind the scenes real quick.
One man can't change the game, but he started.
Let me give you another scoop.
You're bringing up stuff that doesn't help HBCUs. You're talking about
Let me give you this
scoop.
Deion, it's a big narrative going around that Deion couldn't get money for his assistant coaches. The coaches he taking with him right now are all white.
No.
None of them are black.
No, you're wrong.
Gene, is that the scoop?
Now that scoop you got right there was a bad scoop.
Put money on it.
Can you share who the AD is?
He taking Valentine, and he got Kelly from Alabama. Trust me, I know these things. And that's true.
Can you share your source, or you rather not speak on it?
No, I'll text you off the market.
I already know who it is.
I'll text you right now. And let you
didn't he keep some of his coaches from little league all the way up to high school to Jackson State?
They're in his inner circle. That's it. They're not coaching. They're just gonna be.
They're not coaching.
He's coming with an entourage, and they just gonna be in his inner circle.
They're not coaching.
They're not coaching.
I got you.
And Bob, back to your point. Like at the end of the day, we're talking. The conversation is about helping HBCUs. You can help black people in any arena, in any PWI institution. Or any that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about.
I already know what it is. I saw it earlier.
We're talking about not having to go to PWIs to build up our community, our institutions, and doing it within.
But as I stated earlier, HBCU enrollment is at an all-time historic high.
It
was not. No, it wasn't.
It started.
But DJ CEO,
Google check. No, it wasn't. It was at the same slow fucking pace. Google tells me everything.
Eric,
really quick though. Doesn't know what's going on.
Eric, it's not just about.
You said, Google this. No, I'm in this.
At the end of the day, it's about representation.
I need the benediction. We're going in circles.
It's not.
I'm muting all you got, damn it. And you can take yourselves off mute. But MH, go. Did you have something?
I don't. I say we getting close to the benediction time.
For
I know we're collecting the offering. So.
So anyway, there was a point where you guys did say when EP looked up to Google that you guys said that it's always been trending up. And then when there was a question asked about if recruiting's going down, you said it definitely is going down. So obviously Deion had some kind of push and movement in that spike, up or down.
Are you talking about student enrollment, or are you talking about HBCU athletics?
HBCU. What was it?
Because enrollment
nephew. What did you look up? What was it? Was it enrollment?
Just enrollment period.
Enrollment.
It's always been an uptick, right? There's always been an increasing trend, right? But it boomed 7%. Overall, it was an 18% increase, and then it's 25% in the past 3 years. Is the point I'm making?
And it has nothing to do with Deion.
That's a lie.
You say that?
It had to do with the social justice movement.
That's a lie.
That's what happened.
So you're gonna sit here and say Deion had
Come on, Gene, man.
No, it was not.
Come on, man.
Wait a minute.
I'm not going to let
How can you sit here and say that when he brought in all these 5-star recruits to Jackson State?
Y'all discredit all
But
these.
No. I'm not discrediting
all
anything.
this work to make
Gene,
HBCUs rise again.
I'm not discrediting anything. Just real quick, let me make a point. Real quick. I'm not discrediting any type of social justice movement. Nothing. That had a point in the uptick for sure. But you cannot sit here and say that Coach Prime had zero influence in the uptick, because how many 5-star recruits did he bring in? So
right.
That tells me he has that pool.
University.
That's absolutely, but he still has the uptick. He has the limelight. He size the limelight.
That doesn't make sense.
He had more 5-star recruits on his team than the entire HBCU period. So what are you talking about? On his team, he had more 5-star than the entire league.
Let me say this.
Y'all got Deion so down your throat. Y'all just talking.
Whoa, G.
Skillet, let me say
you had a 5-star. Like, relax.
Scoop is a prime hater.
What's up,
one second. Skillet, let me just say this. You said you're looking to enroll into HBCU, and you said it's because of people like me, or other people close in your circle.
It's not people like you. No, it is you and Gene. Absolutely.
Right. I'm going to tell you this right now. And these cats in here, Bob, you guys, you said you played at HBCU, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you this: the average student that go to HBCU, if you're not in athletics, people that go to HBCUs ain't going for sports. Period. We're not. Any undergrad alumni will tell you when we go to our football games, it's to watch the band.
Right, but y'all going to the game, B?
No. We're not. No.
Ain't got nothing to do with somebody playing.
No, we're not going. The game is just a means to the halftime show for us.
Right. Okay. Pause right there, DJ.
Pause. All right.
Pause right there. Can I ask a question now? Can I ask a question now? So I'm glad you said that because after I graduated college, I lived in Montgomery, Alabama. So I went to a couple of homecoming games for Alabama State and Tuskegee, right? And the thing that I didn't experience it, right? I went to a PWI, I didn't experience the culture in that way. But when I went there, I said, man, this is different, right? Because nobody's there watching the football game, right? I thought we was just at a family reunion and my cousins was playing football.
That's what it is.
Right. But as a guy like me, I don't know what Prime is, right? But he's a football player, right? And he's a football brand, right? Do you think he wants to be at a place, right, that is all about football, right? Just because that's his brand, right? That's what Prime. Wouldn't he want to be at a place that's all about football?
Yes. But if you're talking about changing the culture,
but he's just a coach, though. He's a football coach.
Don't say it.
He's not a judge. He's a football coach.
Don't say it.
You cannot do that. You cannot talk about changing HBCU culture from an athletic standpoint and then bail out on
That's the problem for you people that didn't play sports. What Prime did was beautiful. He made the attention. Now you got to not only watch that band play, but you might want to pay attention to this football team. And when I played, hold up though. I don't know if you brothers played at any of these HBCU. When I played at Savannah State, the football was not that good because that was the problem. The focus was on the band and all that. When it came to football, the talent, the players, and everybody as a whole, it was not good. When I transferred out of the HBCU and I went to another college, the football aspect was different because now it was a little bit more important and a lot more focus on that. Why I look at Prime.
On the football, always been trash. So
no, but what I'm talking about Prime is he put the attention to football.
But y'all wasn't the blue bloods of HBCUs.
It didn't matter. I'm just telling you my experience. Did you play?
My experience when I was there.
But Bob, you can't keep bringing a point and then leaving them without context. You cannot say that we want to change the narrative and improve HBCU athletics and then bail out. HBCU athletics have always been bad. We know that. That is not news. The conversation was about changing that so we, as an entire community, can invest our talents and our monies back into our own schools. And now you're telling me, because we already know they wasn't no good. The point is to change that. How do you change that if you don't stick around?
Right.
He don't have to stick around. He already gave the notation that what you need to do.
I was like, he's talking about changing the narrative.
He gave the blueprint.
He's talking about changing the narrative. Our 2000 team at Southern would have dog walked Jackson State. Like that's how many.
Come on, man. Get out of here, man.
Walk Jackson State.
Come on, that ain't true.
If you want to go look at 2000 Southern University.
No, he wouldn't have.
He would have dog.
No, they wouldn't have. You just a fan of your school.
He had 8 pros on that team. We would have dog walked Jackson.
Nah, you a fan of your school, man. Because I don't know no big name player on that team.
Get out of here, Michael.
Get out of here. Who?
Like, get out of here.
Who?
Terrence Levy.
Where he at now?
Well, he's passed away now, but
well, now you can't do that. Hold up, Gene. We ain't got that type of circle. You do something like that. Now that's just dirty. That's wrong. Like, you don't throw nobody that passed away, and we over here talking football. That ain't right. But I'm just saying that ain't right to do that because that's very insensitive, and that ain't right. Don't do that, Gene.
At the end of the day, all HBCUs at some point.
He playing dirty ball.
Yeah, he is very dirty ball. Because I can't even respond like I want to, because that's just man. I don't want to hear that, man. You didn't have to throw that at me.
The truth of the matter is, all HBCUs throughout their existence have put out professional athletes.
Yeah,
that's just part of it. It is. Right. You know, speaking of Deion's son, it's been I don't know any other than Doug Williams that was a quarterback at an HBCU that went on to be like a big name. Like, you usually don't get
Steve McNair.
Steve McNair. Sorry, Steve McNair. Yeah. But outside of that, they're usually like special teams, defensive
receiver,
stuff like that. Yeah, you get stuff like that, right? At the end of the day, it's just those players are never going to be stars in which we can leverage that to use them. Like, we wouldn't have to wait on a prime. We can't leverage them because they're just not stars, right? Mm-hmm. And Doug Williams, I think in today's, if he would have been the first to do it today, he would have been a megastar. But there was no platform to kind of promote that. Right. So again, we cannot talk about it's all tied together. You can't talk about money. You can't talk about the quality of facilities. You can't talk about the talent. You can't talk about any of that without people being committed and staying. You just cannot.
So, see, you don't think Shedeur has anything to do with it? I just want to know.
No, I'm not saying that. I do know. I'm not saying that. But I'm going back to the point of, if he would have never opened his mouth and said one word and just took the job, if he left in 2 years, nobody would have said anything about it. But we bought in to the hype. We bought into the message he was preaching, because we've been waiting for this. Anybody went to HBCU, we were waiting for moments like this. So we bought into it, and then you left us hanging. You could have just not said nothing.
But he didn't leave you hanging, though. That's what I don't understand. He said it multiple times. He said it multiple times. If I'm going to listen to every offer, and I'll be a fool to tell you I wouldn't take something that made sense. He said that multiple times. So don't say he left you hanging. No, he didn't. He let you know that it's a possibility. He gonna listen. Now, a lot of coaches don't even say that. They just
he leaving the cupboard bare.
Well, okay, Bob, I'll give you that.
No, they got an Under Armour deal, right? Don't they got
new facilities from Nike to
he can't take the facilities that he helped build here.
Bob, I'll give you that. I mean, we decided
that facility ain't nothing but some new carpet that was on the practice ground. That's all. Let's not act like it's a brand new practice facility.
Right, but people chose to get in their own personal feelings about that. But he said what was possible. He knew it was going to happen.
At the end of the day, that's just not cool. Like, you can't. Like, he did what basically.
What is cool? What should he have done then?
He didn't have to say anything.
What should he have done? What was the proper way of you being prime time? The level of that he was. He was an entertainer. He was a man that want the camera on him. He was going to do what he needed to do to bring the recruits there. What should he have done? He wouldn't have got the recruits if he didn't be prime time.
All he had to do was promote Jackson.
He could have been prime time without saying anything about HBCUs.
No, he did not.
He's in HBCU.
Really quick, honestly, I don't think he could have done that, because this is the thing. Well, one, we've already talked about, he's an outsider, right? Mm-hmm. So I think, because your boy said he's not swag, right?
Yeah, because he didn't go to HBCU, right?
He didn't go to HBCU, so he's coming in with the mantra like, no, I'm here to make my shit dope, but I want to make everybody dope, because then he's accepted. He'd be a fool to come in there and like, hey, it's JSU and fuck everybody else. Like, he can't do that, right? So I think there's a level of
HBCU's been doing that forever. That's always been Howard and fuck everybody else.
And that's fine for Howard to do that, because Howard is in the circle. This is an outsider coming in, and that's part of what he probably felt he needed to do.
EJ, what is Prime's credentials? He ain't just a normal outsider. What is his credentials?
He's a Hall of Famer. He's
what else?
guy.
What else is
A Hall of Famer in what?
Super Bowl
What else
champion.
is he?
Football.
Right.
What else is he?
And those credentials, got
EJ,
him turned
his
down by
credentials
everybody
speak
else.
for themselves. He did not have to take that job there.
Yes,
No,
he
he
did.
did.
If he
No, he
wanted to
didn't.
coach in college, he did.
No, he didn't.
He was the
No, he
only-
didn't.
Yeah,
You're missing the point.
Put
You're missing the
1,000 on it.
point.
Put a
Yes,
1,000
he
on it,
wanted
and I'll
to
prove
coach,
it to you.
but he did
Put
not.
1,000 on it, and I'll prove it to you.
What did he
Put
need
1,000
for?
on it, and I'll
Okay,
prove it to you.
we're gonna take that offline.
He didn't need it.
What do you need that?
Oh, we can't do that.
No,
can't do that here.
hold up.
Oh,
Look,
wait.
EJ, you had a last word on that. What's
Put
that
1,000
man's
on it.
credential, and what did he need from them?
No, I don't hear nothing else.
If he
Put
did or he
1,000 on
didn't.
it. You so confident. that
Gene,
you
hey, mute Gene, EJ.
Put 1,000
Mute
on it.
Gene, and I want to hear you.
Put 1,000
So what's the
on it.
question?
I want to hear you and MH. Y'all end it up right now. It's you and MH,
Hey,
baby.
cut his mic. Cut his
listen,
mic.
You and MH.
Listen,
You and them.
Put 1,000 on it.
You and
when my
MH.
checking and savings work, man, I can't really put 1,000 on that. bet.
1,000 on
So,
You
Put
so
1,000.
confident.
Hey, what is it?
so
Can we just do 10? Can we just
I got so much going on, man. But my chat's blowing up, man. I love this. This is why we got to have this combo.
What
But,
Pussy
okay.
say about 1,000?
So, oh geez, love every bit of this. All right, let's wrap it up because we're not putting no money on it. All right.
I'm dying to wrap
If
it
you
up.
don't say
I got
something, I'm
some
gonna back
things
it
to
up.
talk
I'm
about.
gonna put
Can
it
I
down.
can I start this wrap up process?
Yeah. All right.
Let's
So
get,
hold on.
we get
all right,
final,
hold on.
EJ, let's get final words from everybody. And let's,
This has nothing to
That's
do
what
with
I'm
Coach
doing.
Prime, nothing to do with swag, nothing to do with HBCUs. All right. Okay.
Wait. Let me get you your spotlight, man. I got so much shit
get
going
your
on, man.
Dallas Cowboys. Hold up.
Oh Lord. Oh. See.
Dallas Cowboys up. Y'all know what it is. Okay. Dallas Cowboys up, looking good. Luka.
They don't need you on
Talking
that
about
show.
signing D Rose. We got some help. Okay. Hold on. Rangers signed the Grom, baby. I know. We're here. They spent $1,000 or
You just
$500
did all
million in the
Texas.
offseason.
Okay.
So last season. So we got DeGrom. We're up. Dallas Stars, biggest goal scorer in the league. Jason Roberts. We're up. England. We're up. Period.
And then, did you have anything on the World Cup? You are our resident soccer
World Cup. I think if England beats France, they have a good chance to make it all the way. Croatia is looking pretty weak. Brazil is the favorite. They play beautiful football. I mean, just the way they play is amazing. It's captivating. But they are the clear favorite, and they show why every game. Argentina, you got Messi. They're the second favorite, and they play pretty good football as well. But I don't think they'll make it. Portugal, everybody wants CR7 to get his first trophy with the World Cup. It would really just put a perfect bow on everything. I'm a CR7 fan till I die. He left Manchester. Is a mutual breakup with Man United, but I'll support him anywhere he goes. But yeah, Cowboys on top. Stars
and then
looking good.
I'm gonna wrap you up. I'm proud that you're looking at HBCUs, man.
Rangers,
That's dope too, man. So
If
any of the panel can help you with that, man, please reach out to him, man.
I
That's good
definitely will.
stuff.
It's all about representation.
That's
Also,
right.
in the streaming world, you have a guy. His name's Kai Cenat. KaiCenat. He just won Streamer of the Year. He is the first Black person, I think, to do it. He's pulling in like 90,000 viewers a night. It's ridiculous. Nobody has done the numbers he's done on Twitch on a regular basis, and it's crazy.
Yeah. So send me that, nephew, so I can make sure we follow and see if we can get him on the show. All right. B, you up next, B.
Oh yeah, man. I love the conversation, man. This is proven, I think, how, I don't know if the word is volatile or how magnetic it, Prime is. And we're gonna see. We're gonna see in the future the impact that it has on HBCUs overall. But I respect what he did. I have no problem with it, with a man going to get his loot. No problem. Never want to take no loot out of nobody's pocket. But to your point, I also want to see folks choose HBCUs and do it, through our own channels.
Boom. Appreciate it. All right. Who's up next? CEO? Let me get you off mute. That'd probably help. Or unmute yourself. Boom. You good?
Oh, there you go. All right. Yeah, this has been a great spirited conversation. And I think all things Black culture, you're definitely going to get that because we're all passionate about it from different elements. So I think it was, it was great in that sense. again, I'm just really disappointed, and only time will tell if he truly made an impact or if this will just fade away as quickly as he came and left. We'll see if that's the same case with as far as like top ranked athletes looking at HBCUs. Yeah, and to Skillet, I mean, as a Met fan, I hated to see DeGrom go, but just understand you're only going to get him for about 6 games because he will end up on the injury list.
I know.
All right, this is a tough one. I don't know, Bob or King G. Which
It's going to be a barn burner.
I don't know if I want to get one the final word versus the other, man.
Man, it's the hottest show on earth right now. Go ahead.
Both of y'all smiling, man. It's a toss up. I'm just going.
You want to go one talk and one mute the other?
All right, hold on, B. Let me unmute you, man. All right, man. Give it to us, man.
Nah, we'll keep it short and sweet, man. I mean, I think Prime did a great thing for the HBCUs, and I think, like CEO said, time will tell. I think he's going to put it in perspective where as far as other people that wouldn't even look to even go there and coach, they got bigger brands and names that's going to help out a lot of HBCUs, and they're going to be all right. You know, I think he got what he wanted out the deal, and I think they got what they want out the deal. Of course, you wanted them to be there a little bit longer, but, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it's a business. We all know that. We all been around it, and that's the way the game goes. So, you know, good luck to Prime, and, you know, he got to do what he got to do now. Now he got to pull a team that's at the bottom at Colorado and pull them to the top. So it's prime time, baby. Yeah.
All right, G, man. Bring us on. Let me get you off mute here.
It's always great for debate. Like everybody that went to HBCUs, we gonna protect our own. Especially when it comes, like, for us, it was an issue of like we very used to getting this from PWI, from people that don't look like us. Today we was getting it from people that don't look like us and our own. So it became like a bigger issue. That's why we so passionate about it. But other than that, I mean, like, it's a good conversation. Everybody, like I say, always check your facts. And I'm gonna leave you with these three. I'm gonna leave you with these 3 things. The Astros are gonna beat the crap out of the Mets and the Rangers. They both trash.
Fuck the Astros. Cheating.
Number 2, Eric, if you're so confident in your enrollment piece, put 1,000 on it. And if you're so confident in Deion having all these other opportunities, Mr. Bob, put 1,000 on it. And that's how confident I am in mine with the information.
First of all, for you to bring up the Astros beating the Mets, it sounds like you still sour over 86, but it's whatever.
I am still sour over 86.
Also, there was allegations in this previous World Series, so I don't want to hear nothing.
There were?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my God!
It's the Astros. Let's be real.
Like,
they can't win shit legit.
It's called a new evil empire.
They can't win shit legit.
Black man at the helm. Come on now.
And also, y'all support Black colleges. Make sure you do that.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Before MH bring us home, man, I want to thank everybody that commented, man. Andrew, Spacebar Podcast, Jasmine. I think we had Chanel. We had On Game, which is the homie Patrick. Did I say Andrew? Just everybody that commented.
My nigga Greg.
Yeah, Greg is for one band, one sound. Greg is definitely on there, man. But for everybody that was on there commenting, man, we appreciate you. CBB 3000. I don't know, that's just your hand. Amobi, great soccer player, man. So everybody that was on here, thanks for helping bring a little flavor to the show. MH, what you got for us, man? Final thoughts.
EJ, title of the show, put 1,000 on it because that shit is funny. And then CEO saying, "Hey, what happened to Deion's whatever?" That just happens when you in Jackson, Mississippi. So
yeah, that's it.
Also hilarious. But nah, man, I really appreciate this, man. EJ and I, we talked about it. We was like, "Hey, we got to get on." I said, "Let's get on the locker room." EJ was like, "Nah, this is a family business." So we had a good conversation, man. I'm excited to see what happens. And who knows? Like, coaching is weird, man. I don't. Maybe he's successful at CU. Maybe he's not. You know, I guess would y'all accept him if he went back? If he wasn't successful, would y'all be like, nah, you didn't do it?
We would. He'd have to hear about it on the way in.
Yeah.
He's gonna hear about it. He's gonna let you know.
Okay.
I don't think he would ever live that down, honestly.
Yeah, but all good. No, it's I always love these conversations because I learn from everybody from a lot of different perspectives, man. It was a good convo, so appreciate y'all time, man. That's 2 good ass hours, man. That's a good time.
That's what's up. Yeah. Well, yeah, once again, man, we appreciate everybody for the support, man. This show is going to go live. If you got to watch it live, I guess you enjoyed it, but definitely share the replay. This is definitely concluded, man. 2022 has been amazing, but I'm ready for 2023. We still got shit to do. So, we're looking to continue to bring good content, bring you guys on here to definitely share in the comments, sharing. What you got, nephew?
I just need congratulations from the 6 of you. I get married in 5 days.
That's right.
Congratulations, brother.
That's right.
Congratulations, brother.
Appreciate it.
I mean, Eric, you could probably use this 1,000, so you might want to put that.
Hey, I mean, I'll meet you after.
Get the fuck out of here.
Put 1,000 on it.
I was the one back in the day always talking about I love the hood. I love the ghetto. I was the one said I wasn't the kind of nigga make a little money and run to the suburbs. Yeah, you right. That's what I said. But as soon as I got my check, I was gone.
And on that note, man, we out, man. Thank you guys, man. So please be safe, practice gratitude, and know we're rooting for you.
Screaming, all us blacks got is sports and entertainment until we even.
Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Yeah. Yeah. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Spent about 2 racks on handmade new rags. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. That's everybody from sports to college class to rap and back.